Inside a forest of stinging tentacles, the world runs by a single rule. The largest animal commands. There is one dominant female. Below her, a breeding male. Below him, a queue of smaller males who do not breed at all, waiting in a strict size hierarchy, kept in check not by force alone, but by something built into the chemistry of their bodies. She eats first. She grows largest. She is the uncontested center of everything happening inside this anemone. And the moment she disappears, the moment her chemical signal stops, something extraordinary begins inside the male directly beneath her. Not grief, not panic, a rewrite. This is the clownfish, one of the most recognizable animals on Earth, and almost certainly one of the most misunderstood. Every single clownfish is born male. The female at the top of every group was once a male too. The entire family structure runs on a biological mechanism so extreme that it rewrites the animal from the inside out. And we are only now beginning to understand exactly how. How does an animal carry the genetic code for both sexes, hold one offline for years, and then activate it in response to a social signal? If the transformation starts in the brain before the body catches up, what exactly is the brain detecting? And if sex, in fish, turns out to be a sliding dial rather than a fixed switch, what does that say about our assumption that biology writes its instructions in permanent ink? Start with the anemone, because without it, none of this exists. Of the more than 1,000 sea anemone species in the ocean, only 10 would accept clownfish as residents. The tentacles of all of them are lined with nematocysts, microscopic harpoons that fire on contact, injecting venom into anything that brushes them. For most fish, touching an anemone means paralysis or death. For the clownfish, it means home. The difference is a layer of mucus. Clownfish mucus is 3 to 4 times thicker than that of other fish, and it carries a specific chemical signal that the anemone reads as self, suppressing the firing of the nematocysts entirely. The fish doesn't fight through the sting, it simply doesn't trigger it. Young clownfish have to earn this protection. A juvenile approaching a new anemone spends hours in a careful acclimatization ritual, brushing different parts of its body against the tentacles over and over, gradually acquiring enough of the anemone's own chemical identity to become invisible to it. In exchange for permanent residence inside one of the reef's most effective defense systems, the clownfish cleans the anemone of parasites, drives away butterfly fish that would eat its tentacles, and fertilizes it with waste. A deal struck over millions of years of co-evolution, so tight that neither species manages well without the other. Inside that fortress, a precise social order runs at all times. The breeding female is the largest animal in the group, always. Below her, the breeding male, the only non-female who reproduces. Below him, several non-breeding males, ranked by size, none of them breeding at all. But here's the thing that nobody talks about. Those non-breeding males are not simply waiting, they are actively choosing to stay small. Research has shown that subordinate males suppress their own growth rate to remain precisely below the animal ranked above them. Growing too fast triggers aggression from the dominant male, potentially fatal inside a space as small as a single anemone. So they hold back, keeping themselves just small enough to survive, just large enough to hold their rank. Every fish in the group carries this same tension, a body capable of transformation, held in stasis by the chemical and social pressure of whoever sits above it. And then the female dies. The moment the dominant female is gone, her suppressive chemical signal disappears from the water. Within hours, the largest male begins to change behavior. He becomes more aggressive, more territorial, occupying the space the female held. But the transformation happening inside him runs far deeper than behavior. Every clownfish gonad is, technically, both at once, an ovotestis containing both testicular tissue and ovarian tissue. In a functional male, the testicular portion is active and the ovarian tissue is held in an early, dormant state. What the female's continued presence was doing was keeping the ovarian tissue locked there. Once that signal drops, the brain responds first. A gene called aromatase, the molecular key to the whole process, surges in expression across the brain and the gonads simultaneously. Aromatase is an enzyme that converts androgens, the male hormones, into estrogens, the female ones. As aromatase levels climb, the hormonal ratio that had maintained the male state for years begins to reverse. The brain's transformation completes within roughly 30 days. The preoptic area of the hypothalamus, a region that governs reproductive behavior across virtually all vertebrates, physically restructures. Neural circuits rewire. The behavioral template shifts. Then the signal moves downward. Receptors in the gonadal tissue receive the new hormonal instruction and begin two processes simultaneously. The testicular tissue starts to degenerate. The dormant ovarian tissue, the part that was always there, begins to proliferate. By 40 days after the female disappeared, 87% of the gonadal tissue is now ovarian. The fish is laying eggs within weeks of that. Not a different animal. The same animal, same DNA, same cells, running a completely different program. And the transformation is one way. Once complete, it cannot be reversed. A new hierarchy settles immediately. The next male in the queue steps up as the breeding male. Below him, all the others adjust. The suppression begins again. Every fish in the group is simultaneously locked in place and one death away from being something entirely different. Turned out to be the most efficient survival strategy available in that environment. The theory that explains this is called the size advantage model. It was formalized in 1969 by a biologist named Michael Giselin, and it is almost mathematical in its logic. Sex change should evolve when one sex benefits more from being large than the other. For clownfish, larger females produce exponentially more eggs than smaller ones. Male size matters far less. So the most efficient thing a large male can do is stop being a male. This same logic played out independently across at least 27 separate fish families. Around 500 species of fish alive today can change sex. Roughly 2% of all fish species. Some go male to female, like clownfish. Others go female to male, like wrasses, where a large dominant male can monopolize far more reproductive opportunities than a female of the same size. Parrotfish, groupers, sea bass. Each time the logic is the same. Sex is not a fixed identity. It is a reproductive strategy. And when the strategy stops being optimal, the animal changes strategy. The DNA was never the instruction. The DNA was always the toolkit. The social environment decides which tools get used. We have spent most of human history treating biological sex as the most fixed fact about a living creature, written in the moment of conception, readable in every cell, permanent. And for most of the vertebrate world, that description is accurate enough. For mammals, for birds, for most reptiles, the mechanism that sets sex is locked early and stays locked. But tucked into the coral reefs of the Indo-Pacific, inside a stinging fortress that most animals cannot enter, a small orange fish has been quietly running a different system for millions of years. Not because sex is unimportant to it, because sex is so important that evolution found a way to make it responsive. The genome of a clownfish carries instructions for being both. The question of which one it becomes, and when, is answered not by the DNA alone, but by who else is in the anemone, which is the same thing these animals keep showing us. From the platypus to the Komodo dragon to this, the rules we are most certain apply everywhere usually apply almost everywhere. The exceptions are not failures of the rule. They are the rule revealing its own edges. For the clownfish, DNA is not a life sentence. It is a set of options. And every morning, inside a swaying anemone on a coral reef, the largest fish in the group wakes up and runs the program it needs to run that day.